this time, we have defensive ends coach Deke Adams.
All right.
Questions for
Yeah.
you, Coach? Greg?
All right, so let's start with some of the basics in your background. First of all, is Deke a given name? How'd you get that?
It's a given name, but not a government name. Yeah, it's my uncle gave me that name a long time ago. My uncle and my aunt gave me that name a long time ago, and it just kind of, I think I was 3 or 4 years old, and it just stuck with me the whole time. And now, I mean, if you say Demetrius, I don't even think people will know who you're talking about.
So how'd you get into coaching? Obviously, you were a good player at Southern Miss from reading your background, right? So did coaching come natural to you at that point?
Well, I'm gonna say this. I think I was an average player. I played with a lot of really, really good ones. I did do that. It did. I graduated with my master's, and Mike Williams was the running back coach at Southern Miss at the time, and he took the head job at Jacksonville State. And he asked me to go with him, and I went with him as a defensive ends guy. That was back when they were restricted earnings coaches, and barely making ends meet, but I really wanted to be in the business and loved the business. I thought, at that time, really felt like I had a calling for it, and it just stuck. It's been 30 years since.
Take you to all the places that it's taken you. You've been in a lot of different spots over the years.
I have. In 30 years, me and my wife were talking about it yesterday. Our truck showed up yesterday with a house, kind of dropped everything off, and this was move 13 out of 30 years, and so I've been in a lot of really good places, and all the way from had a chance to coach at my alma mater, and one of about I think 3 or 4 schools that are coaches that have coached at all 3 major colleges in the state of Mississippi, and and then North Carolina twice, South Carolina. I had a chance to be around it and be around some really good coaches with Steve Spurrier, Larry Fedora. It's just a lot of really good guys, and so it's been a good ride for me.
How do you think about your group, the one you inherited?
Well, I think they're doing a good job. This is I think week 4 for me. I hadn't been here long, and I got in late. It didn't have any say so really in the recruiting process of them. So coming in, they were getting to know me getting to know them, my style, their style, who they are, and what they're good at. And I mean, right now we're just kind of trudging away every day and trying to get a little bit better. I think we have a lot of talent in the room, but I still think we have a long way to go.
You just said you splitting up the coaching responsibility differently, where you've got the ends and Coach Green's got the interior guy.
Yeah.
What's the biggest difference between what you coach and what he coaches, and how do you mix them together?
Well, I think I think the biggest difference. I'm a lot older than he is right now, but he's a really good coach. I've known about him for a while, and he does a really good job. And this is the first time I was talking to somebody else about it earlier. The first time in 30 years I've only had 2 of the guys up front, but I think it's really good because it allows us to really focus in on the basics and the fundamentals of each position. And Coach Green does a great job, and me, like I said, getting to learn our guys and they learn me. I think it really helps the process and allow us to grow faster. So I think it's going to be really good, and we both are hard coaches. We get on them, but we love them at the same time.
What are some of the fundamentals that are non-negotiable for an edge guy?
Oh well, the biggest thing is just the ability to run off the football. Be able to set the edges. You want to have kids with good length on the edge, but you have to. The biggest part in this program within general, period, not just edges, is you have to play hard. It's non-negotiable. You have to play hard. You have to play physical, and that's the game of football. And so if a kid doesn't want to do that, then I'm not sure he's going to be a really good player anyway. But the fact that that's a non-negotiable here in the entire program, that makes it a lot easier translating it to our players. But the ability to be able to bend and rush the quarterback is huge. And that's one thing that we've been working on, because that's an area that we're really trying to improve on, is be able to get pressure on the quarterback.
Nowadays, a defensive end can be, a really athletic 220 guy or like a guy pushing 300.
Right.
Do you coach that all the same, or does it have to be different for the different?
Well, I think you look at what the kids are capable of doing, and if you have a kid that's a bigger guy, because I've been places where I've had a 300-pound defensive end. Just recently, coaching a kid that was 280, 285, but he was 6'8", So I think it's basically boils down to what that kid can do, and you have to be able to set up as a coach, set up the system or set up packages for that particular skill set of that kid. If you're saying, okay, here's a guy that's 300 pounds and we're going to leave him out there on third down, but he really can't rush the quarterback, that's not being smart. So I think you have to play with different packages and move kids around in different areas. And I think you coach them the same, but it's about what they're capable of doing and what they're not.
Is there like a sweet spot, do you think, for like size, athleticism, like the whole package?
Yeah, I think it is, and I was fortunate enough to be around that guy for 1 year, and he was a special one. He just happened to be the #1 overall pick in the draft. I don't know if that's a sweet spot. That's kind of all the way on one end of the deal, but I've had a lot of really good guys that could do both, and I think a guy that can play the run and play physical with good length and has a weight to be able to hold the point, and a guy that can rush the quarterback, bend, and be very athletic on third down, and you can move them around and do different things. And I've been around both of those guys and a lot of different guys.
You came in late to the process, so you learned your players late, but you also learned the system late.
Yeah.
Was it difficult to learn what Zach Alley was doing, or have you had enough background in so many defenses that you were quick to pick it up?
No, I think it's Zach does a great job. We're very multiple. We do a lot of different things, and I've had a background in all of it, not all at one time, but in all different areas. And what he does, I think he does a great job of putting the kids in position to be successful. And I don't think it's hard. There's only get to a point. There's only so many things you can do. But we're very multiple here, and I think it's beneficial for our kids. But once again, we just have to be smart as coaches and hey, what's right for the talent level that we have. And he does a great job with that.
How does a defensive lineman produce a baseball player who's a first-round draft pick?
Well, I tell you what, you recruit well because my wife, she'll never say it, but she was an All-American basketball player. And she did a great job. And we just, both of our boys were very athletic. Our oldest son played basketball in college, but the young one was just, I knew it from when he was little. And he just took to everything. And he's doing a great job right now and still chasing that dream. He's been up with 2 different teams multiple times, but, he's chasing that dream to be there full time right now. So he's close, so hopefully he'll be blessed with it soon. He is in Biloxi, Mississippi, and it's ironic because that's where he was born, in Gulfport, Mississippi, right there. He's with the AA organization of the Biloxi Shuckers with the Milwaukee Brewers. But he's been up and down, and it's a fun deal, I guess, or a fine line when you get to a certain point in baseball. You kind of up and down, and they mess around with you here and there, and it's a lot of different things. But he's fighting through it, and he's doing good.
Came in after these players are already here.
Yeah.
Who are some of your guys that are kind of standing out to you so far?
Well, Zeke Campbell is doing a really good job. Harper Holloman's doing a really good job. And I'm very, I guess, leery sometimes of pointing out certain guys because they're all working. But, those 2 guys have shown up and able to. But ironically, those 2 have played the most football in the room. So, it's expected of them to be there. And they're showing a lot of maturity and a lot of improvement. And like I said, that's to be expected because they've played the most snaps out of everybody. But I think we got a lot of young talent, and it's just got to develop.
One of those would be Toby, I guess. Hasn't played a lot of football, but has a high resume. So what do you see from him?
Yeah, he's done a good job. I mean, he's done a really good job. He was banged up a little bit early in the spring. He's just starting to come into himself. But once, like you said, he hadn't played a whole lot of football. He's still young. I mean, when you look at him, you don't think he's a young freshman, sophomore type kid, but he is still young. So There's a lot of improvement though, but it's a lot of improvement, like I said, in the whole room. We've got a lot of work to do and a short period of time to do it.
To make it better on your pass rushers, that Western USJ mobiles quarterback style offense, that they got to chase those guys down?
Yeah. Well, I mean, in today's game, that's kind of everybody you're playing. Most people playing with mobile quarterbacks that can move around, and you want to have kids that can chase guys down when they get outside of the pocket, but you also want to have guys that are strong enough to be able to collapse the pocket and keep them in the pocket and be able to make plays when they get there and not have to chase them all over the place. But I think we're very athletic in the room. But like I said, I mean, we just got we got to mature a lot because there's not a whole lot of snaps in the room.
Coach Rodriguez mentioned that he was getting to a point in the spring where he was going to start cutting some things down because he thought guys were. How does that square with you wanting to learn as much as you can about your players and seeing maybe, hey, this guy does these things very well. Maybe he's a good wide rusher, but that ends up being something that this defense doesn't do well. Is it hard to get a true read on everybody?
Well, it's tough when you do a lot of different things. It really is. But I think you have to expose them to everything to be able to feel, okay, what are they capable of doing? And now at that point, now you're able to say, okay, this is who we have. This is what they're good at. This is what we can do. Now let's focus in on that. But I think early, and it's hard during this age of the transfer portal and all that because most teams are changing every year. And you teaching different things and you exposing them to different things to figure out what they can and can't do. And I think we do a great job of that here. Zach does a great job of that, of exposing them to a lot of different things. And, we're very, like I said earlier, we're very multiple, but, we'll definitely cut things down as we go and fine tune things and allow them to be the players that we know they can be.
Okay, thank you
All right.
very much, Coach.
Yes, sir. Thank you, guys.